I asked this question on stage during my stand-up set. I'll say, why was it okay to say that the 2016 election was invalid, but it's not okay to say that about 2020? Why is that? No one ever has an answer. Well, it happened here with Christie and David Muir. David Muir. It sounds like a kitty doing a kitty purring. I'm David Muir. Muir. I hope he has his shirt unbuttoned. Here we go. Ready?
This goes all the way back to 2000 with George W. Bush, when you had supporters of Al Gore who, even after Vice President Gore conceded the election and certified it himself.
So you hear Chris Christie saying, even after Al Gore certified the election himself. He makes that point. Watch this.
As the president of the Senate refused to accept George W. Bush as legitimate. You've had Hillary Clinton say that she still doesn't accept the 2016 election results as legitimate. This is a very dangerous thing in this country, which was brought to a new level in 2020.
But I have to interrupt right there, because you also know, Governor, Al Gore stood before the nation and actually conceded and did something very different.
Yeah, he just said that. Chris Christie just said that. Even after Al Gore conceded the election and certified it, because he was the president of the Senate, the vice. Even then, he just said it. And watch, it gets funnier.
We've witnessed, yeah.
I mean, all he's doing is, yeah, okay.
This is much
David,
different.
I didn't say Al Gore. David, let's be clear. Let's remember what I said. Even after Al Gore conceded the election and went before the country in the Congress and certified the election as president of the Senate, there were still many of his supporters around the country who did not believe that George W. Bush was legitimate, and in fact voted against certification in the House of Representatives. What I'm saying is this is a disturbing trend and pattern that's been increasing in intensity from 2000 to 2016 to now to 2020.
I get what you're saying.
I get what you're saying, Chris, but I want to make sure our audiences doesn't. I just mixed tenses in that punchline. It didn't work right. I want to make sure our audience doesn't. I said audiences, which is not what I wanted to say, and it wrecked the joke. And I apologize to Kurt.
It's okay.
Okay.
Just don't want our audience to think that I'm not aware that there isn't a real equivalency here when you have a former president who is sowing the seeds of doubt in this.
So do you hear what he's saying? He's saying, I just don't want to make it. Well, Chris Christie wasn't making an equivalency. He was saying that it's actually getting worse. So it wasn't equivalent. He was saying that it started in 2000 with people who wouldn't accept George W. Bush as legit. And then it got worse in 2016 with blaming it on Russia. And now there's 2020 with the January 6th. He didn't say they were. He said it got worse. He said it was a disturbing trend. Go ahead, Kurt.
You know, it's been a national tradition now for, remember, I mean, not Mitt Romney. Everybody knew Mitt Romney lost fair and square. But Obama, the first time, that was, dead people voted for Obama. Remember all that? That's been going on every single time since then.
And that's why Barack Obama, if you remember, they said they have to win overwhelmingly, or else it'll be contested and nobody will accept it and stuff like that. He couldn't be a close election with Obama, or else people wouldn't accept it. That I remember them saying that during Obama. So let's watch this without me stopping it.
This goes all the way back to 2000 with George W. Bush, when you had supporters of Al Gore who, even after Vice President Gore conceded the election and certified it himself as the president of the Senate, refused to accept George W. Bush as legitimate. You've had Hillary Clinton say that she still doesn't accept the 2016 election results as legitimate. This is a very dangerous thing in this country, which was brought to a new level in 2020.
But I have to interrupt right there, because you also know, Governor, Al Gore stood before the nation and actually conceded and did something very different from what we've witnessed.
David.
Yeah, this is much
David,
different.
I didn't say Al Gore. David, let's be clear. Let's remember what I said. Even after Al Gore conceded the election and went before the country in the Congress and certified the election as president of the Senate, there were still many of his supporters around the country who did not believe that George W. Bush was legitimate, and in fact voted against certification in the House of Representatives. What I'm saying is this is a disturbing trend and pattern that's been increasing in intensity from 2000 to 2016 to now to 2020.
I get what you're saying. I just don't want our audience to think that I'm not aware that there isn't a real equivalency here when you have a former president who is sowing the seeds of doubt in this particular election that we're looking at. I want to bring in Heidi Heitkamp.
So he ends it there. And he's just like, hey, nothing. He wasn't making an equivalency. He said the thing you said he didn't say. And he's making a good point, actually. I don't like Christie at all. You know, well, I think he's a big lying bullshitter, but he happens to be telling the truth now. And that's exactly true. And go ahead, Kurt. You want to say something?
I missed this the first time I watched it. That guy goes, no, I know what you're saying. I don't want them to think that he's afraid the audience is going to turn on him.
Yes.
Because he said those things are, like, they know how dumb their audience is. So
yes.
He's afraid of them.
So what he's saying is, look, nothing matters except Trump is bad, Chris. Can you just say that, please? Just start saying the line that we asked you. We hate you, Christie, but we're pretending you're one of the good guys to desperately hold on to power. So can you please just read the talking points we gave you? And what are those talking points that they give those people? The talking points are January 6th was the Benghazi of all 9/11s, and Trump is the Putin of all Hitlers. We should probably start recorded history like at January 6th, so that way we don't have to think about it while promoting mass hysteria.
It's just incredible that you're not even allowed to acknowledge like Hillary Clinton's own views of the 2016 election and that she still rejects the validity of it. Like he got cut off the moment he tried to bring that up.
Well, here it is. So let me, David Muir's not here to cut me off. So let me show you. Here's from the Washington Post. Hillary Clinton, Trump is an illegitimate president. So she didn't accept him as president. Isn't that what everybody says? Trump is so bad because he didn't accept the election as legitimate, but she doesn't either. Even worse, she said that he's a traitor to our country. She said the president of the United States is a traitor to our country and that his election was illegitimate. That's what Hillary Clinton said. Even Trump didn't say she was a traitor to our country. Even Trump didn't say Joe Biden was a traitor to our country. He wasn't even as bad as Hillary. Isn't that kind of crazy? So there it is. And by the way, here's the part about Bush. So Gallup did a poll. 7 out of 10 Americans accept Bush as legitimate president. So that sounds like 3 out of 10 didn't. I'm not a math surgeon, but... And a majority of blacks, 52%, feel Bush stole the election. That was from Gallup, and that was from 2001. So that's from July 17th, 2001. Over half of black Americans in America and outside of America, 52% of black Americans thought that George Bush stole the election. So this isn't a new thing, is the point, right, Kurt? Isn't that the? And I mean,
it was just before the election that they were still talking about. I was watching Bill Maher, and what's his name? Moore, the guy, going for Columbine director.
Michael Moore.
He goes, I'm still not over it. They stole the election. I'm going to say to the audience, woo! This is not 2 or 3 years ago.
I know.
Yeah. Well, when you have a unique evil like Trump, like that there's never been before, a Thanos level threat.
Yeah.
There's only one thing that matters is winning.
Boy, if only we had social media back then, we could have censored that problem away.
We didn't pre-bunk them.
Yeah, we could have pre-bunked and then afterwards censored. Post-censor, pre-bunk and then post-censor. That's what we're supposed to be doing. That's what a good democracy does. Pre-bunks and post-censors.
Yeah, I saw the Carlin documentary. They explained.
Ha! Boy, what a shitty time to be a comedian. I mean, as far as the other comedians losing their mind and repeating propaganda from the government and big pharma as opposed to being what comedians are supposed to be, like George Carlin was, who made fun of fucking everybody?
Well, I got some, I guess, good and bad news. It's about to be great to be a comedian again, based on the disasters that are coming.
Yeah, I mean, it's good. It's there's no, yeah. I'm talking about it's bad because comedians are also falling prey and victim to propaganda, which is, we used to be on the outside of that. That's why I always thought comedy was on the outside of that. We had George Carlin. We had we had Bill Hicks, right? We had those kind of people, Lenny Bruce, people outside of the culture. That's what I looked at them anyway.
Well, a firm, probably even majority, want to be inside it, and that's why they're doing comedy, is to get inside it.
That's
so those
right.
are all people you named that weren't really. I mean,
so now rich kids are fucking doing comedy. You know, it all started with goddamn people like when Conan O'Brien got the show. You know, he was from Harvard or whatever, and then they gave him a late night talk show. That's the last guy you want to have host a fucking late night talk show. Some douchebag who went to fucking Harvard, who's comes from privilege, and then according to he did a shitty show all those years. You know, that's my own prejudice. Some people like the show. Some people like this show. His show was amateur. He's an amateur host. He's never gotten good, and I know a lot of people. He never got any better. He was the exact same guy today as he was when he took that show over. Anyway, I'm getting stuck in an argument about Conan O'Brien I could care less about. But I'm sure he's a very nice human being, along with Andy Richter. They're good boys. July 3rd, we're doing a live show in Los Angeles, and then we're going to Chicago, Sacramento, San Diego, Bakersfield. See you there. Go to jimmydorecomedy.com for a link for all our tickets.